Welcome everyone. This is my walkthrough of SOC ALPHA 2 on Blue Team Labs Online. So today we're going to be investigating the 4 hunts or alerts. I'll try to break down each step to help demonstrate the process of identifying and correlating the malicious activity and answer these investigation questions. So let's go ahead and get started. While we wait for this lab to start up, we can see that we're going to be using the ELK Stack, doing log analysis, network analysis, and then we have a couple techniques that we can put in the MITRE attack framework. So let's get the first one, and that's a brute force. So we'll keep this up for now, and then I'm going to go ahead and get 2 other pages of the MITRE framework open to have for reference. This is going to be a credential dumping technique. So right here, you can see Mimikatz, which is a credential dumper capable of obtaining plain text windows, account logins, and passwords, along with many other features that make it useful for testing the security of networks. Curious to see if this is the exact tool we'll find being used in our environment on the lab, but all 3 of these will definitely be important to come back to for a reference. So now we'll wait till the lab finishes booting up so we can get started. Okay, so the main desktop is booted up. We have a actual readme.txt here that we can open up, and now exit out of that one. So now we can see that ELK is up and running. You can access Kibana with Firefox at our localhost on 5601. For the port, it looks like we are going to be hunting for, hunt 1 will be for brute force detected under the for source win event security, which will be the index. And then we'll have hunt 2, which is going to be Windows Defender bypass. Source will be sysmon/win event -PowerShell. Hunt 3 is going to be a WannaCry kill switch domain with a sysmon source. And then hunt 4 will be for password dumping. So let's go ahead and see if our instance of Elastic is, if not, please start the services manually. Okay. So I remember the first command ran very slowly, but run these 3 commands right here to start it manually if you're running into the same issue. If not, congratulations, just go ahead and go to the localhost link provided in the readme.txt. So now, since we're looking for brute force detected, there are authentication logs that we're going to want to take a look at. Let's bring this up to full screen though. So we can go to discover. I'm noticing in this investigation, we don't have a time frame to go off of, which will make tuning this down a little harder, but this is a hunting situation. So in a real situation that you're hunting, you wouldn't really be responding to alerts because threat hunting is finding stuff that your security solutions could not find. So again, win event security, to change the index or the source, you just click right here. Always make sure to change your time. Could you imagine? What if we do like 5 years? Okay. What if we do 1 year? Actually, I'm just going to take this guy back to 2020. And that worked. Okay, but we have 2,039 hits. So here, take a look at this. So what we'll do is we'll go over here and we're going to look event logs, right, are the codes for failed logins and successful. Because if we noted that it was a brute force attempt. So right here we have event ID 4625 and 4624. So those are going to be the ones we're going to run a search for. But with brute force, you're going to have a bunch of failed login attempts and possibly a successful one. So now we can run the query. So if you go to search, we should be able to input a field of, I'm just looking for the correct one, looking for event load or ID, event data ID, authentication, package name, no, event data. I see I could do the event failure reason, event data identity. So this might be it, the field. We're going to search for it. And I didn't find what I wanted, but what I did find is the event ID field. So this is perfect. So right now what we'll do is we just go up here and we'll paste that in. And with those event codes that we have from the search earlier, which are 4625 and 4624, which 4624 is successful login, is failed. So I would like to search for failed ones first, since we're looking at a brute force. But even that has over 1800 hits, and that's a lot to manually go through for sure. Back to the question, what is the IP address from which the suspicious brute force traffic is seen? So what I would do here is just expand one of these, is if we can correlate. So I'm noticing that all of these are the same desktop too. And all of these are that same IP address. But this looks like an internal IP address rather than an external. We can try it out and see if that is the correct answer. And it was, okay. What is the observed login type? So that's the next question. What is the observed login type? Here you go, right here. So the observed login type was 3. And if we just, again, go to Google, guys and gals, go to Google and just type in logon type 3. And that's a network login. A network login or any other login can take place only after an interactive logon authentication has taken place, as the same credentials used for an interactive logon are applied. You'll likely see a lot of these two types. Sessions can time out or be torn down and be reestablished by a server without the user being aware of it. Most connections to a server will be type 3. Okay, so with that, because it wants the full name, not the number, this should be the answer, but it's not. So maybe it is just typing in 3. And maybe everything is just wrong. I don't know. Oh, maybe it's just the word network. And it was. Ta-da. All right, we have a final question, the third question for Hunt 1. What is the type of the first successful logon after the brute force attack? Apparently it was successful. So we need the day, the month, the year, and the time. Okay, so we'll look for the other event code, which will be And we got 69 hits on that. Oh man. Scroll. I gotta change my mouse wheel to do the endless scroll. All right, cool. Wait, is that the bottom? Yeah. All right. What is the time of the first successful logon? Okay. So we have it right here. That'll be 04. No, it won't. It will be 14/04/2021. And they want hours, minutes, and seconds, not milliseconds. So let's delete that. And then let's paste that. Okay, so it's saying that's not correct. Let's just put it all together. Weird. I understand. These, just because they're successful, doesn't mean that this was a brute force attack necessarily. So what we should look for here is a time, I would say a time frame of this event ID of a successful login. But what we'd want is kind of to see where the failed logins correlate to the successful one, so we can match it rather than potentially just seeing normal logons. But another thing I just thought of, we have the IP address that the brute force traffic is seen. So what that means is we can filter this further down. And I think this will be the field we were looking for, which is event data IP address. So with that being said, since we have this filtered down even more, I believe we should see the IP address related. And you're only seeing them for some. So here is the brute force IP address that they were using. So what we can tell now is that this was on April 14th, 04. And then we need the time, which should be 10:56:30. And that was it. So hunt 1 completed. And for hunt number 2, question 1 is, what is the full command used for bypassing the defender scan on the malicious file format? Do not include the file path. Okay. So with that being said, we can go back to search, and I'm going to say that it's going to be either a bypass or some type of exclusion command, but we can do Windows Defender bypass PowerShell. And let's see what kind of documentation we can get. Oh, here we go. Look at this. So you can try this exclusion path first. And what was this going to be under? This was going to be under sysmon/winEvent PowerShell. Since we're pretty sure this is it is going to be PowerShell, I'll just go to winEvent PowerShell, right? And let's clear this out. Do a search. It's going to load. And we are now going to look for some type of exclusion here. So let me look at the Windows Defender exclusion again. And we have this exclusion path. And it looks like I will have to copy this in my clipboard. Okay, and that's great. So now I should be able to just paste this. And I want to say we need to put an asterisk for wildcard there. I don't know if we need to put it on the other end. Okay. Exclusion path, we have this chroma executable file. So do not include the file path. So it wants the full command, but do not include the file path. So this should be the answer. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is that this has to be it, right? This is the exclusion that was put in. So if the next question is asking for the file name, then we can see if we're in the right place, because that was right. Here is a PowerShell.exe dash input format none, output format none, non-interactive command, add MP preference dash exclusion path. So I think, yeah, this is it. This has to be it, right? Yes. Okay, and now we're going to be on to hunt 3. And if we open back up the README, it's going to be for WannaCry. And it looks like a kill switch domain. Source is going to be sysmon. And yeah, what is the domain name is the question. So it wants domain dot top level domain. Okay. Wow. Okay, so we're definitely going to need sysmon DNS code. Let's just look at sysmon codes in general. Security codes. A sysmon event ID breakdown. Event ID 1 is process creation. Event ID 2 is process change. Event ID 22 is DNS events. Are useful and when coupled with event ID 3, network connection and file write events can help produce a complete picture. However, like a lot of things on a network, these can be very noisy. The modular approach to this has been to exclude known domains and log the rest. I believe it was 22. Yeah. Okay. And that has 61 hits. I mean, that's not terrible, but, and then what I like to do is on this left side, how we have it, right now we have it filtered down to that event ID, but if you hit the plus right here, it will show you all of this right here. So it will just make it easier just to see that these are all event ID 22, but we're already filtered for that up here. So it's really unneeded. Okay, so then if we open these up and we scroll down some, see, like this is very odd. How many times did that happen? I'm curious to see what that even is. Wonder if I can find anything about that online. Or like, let's go to Cisco, Talos, Intel, search. So now I should be able to just, oh, nope. I always forget to use the clipboard when we're in this environment, in like a lab environment. Okay, so what if I just put it in quotes? Okay, and look, it comes up, WannaCry, new kill switch. In response to the rapid spread of WannaCry, on Friday, Microsoft released a patch for older versions. So we should now update new kill switch confirmed, the kill switch. So this is the answer, right? Because the question's asking for the domain. Nice. All right, one question left for hunt, 2 questions total for hunt 3. What is the execution process ID and thread ID? You need a PID. So what I would just do over here is go to process So we want the process ID. So we'll get that, the thread ID. Okay, and now we are still on hunt number 3. We have 2 questions. The first one was answered, which was the WannaCry kill switch domain, which is going to be this string of characters with the .com. Next is, what is the execution process ID and the thread ID? That I'm assuming it's related to this. So what we can do is make sure we're in our right source or index, which is going to be sysmon. And we'll go back into Elastic. We will switch it back to sysmon right here, this drop down. And I'm going to hide the questions, but we know what is the execution process ID and thread ID of, I'm assuming, of related to this, since this is still the same hunt. So with that being said, I remember that this was back in 2021, and we have 2,000 hits in total, all right on this, around this time. Autocomplete is now faster. We've changed how autocomplete works to improve performance. Nice. So with that being said, we know that that was a domain. And since we're in sysmon, we can, let me exit out of full screen on this. And we have the sysinternals event IDs pulled up. So right here, we have an event ID for DNS events, right? This event is generated when a process executes a DNS query, whether the result is successful or fails, cached or not. The telemetry data for this event was added for Windows 8.1, so it is not available on Windows 7 and earlier. That is fine. So I have a good feeling that if we search, or like event ID field, I really like this search on the left side, because here we go, event system ID, right? So now we're going to do that. Well, no, I didn't want to filter that like that, because that takes away a lot of the data. What I want it to do is take that value. So yes, take this event data, event type value, paste it, if that works, but if it doesn't, we'll just hand type it. Event underscore event data, and then event data ID. That seems like it's going to be it. So next we'll do colon, and we'll try the 22, and no results match. So this seems like it's probably not the right field. So I wonder if it's, let's delete this. Okay, system, event ID, event record ID. I'm going to say event ID should do it. We'll try this, and we'll do 22, putting the quotations right there. Okay, and it looks like it is loading up some documents. So now we have 30 documents. So this is where the HTTP, oh, look at this, event data, event query name. And we're going to want this specifically. So now what you can do is type in end, and then paste that, and just make sure put the double quotes. And now this should tailor it down. And now what we have here is the information's highlighted. And I would like to go all the way back down to the very first event at 8:03 and 38 seconds. We're looking for the execution process ID and thread ID. So the execution process ID should be this And then the thread ID is right here, 4260. And these are all matching up. These are all the same, except for this one. Okay. But we will try this and see if this is the correct answer. So again, we have 2,724 for the PID, which is process ID. And next we have the thread ID of 4,260. Okay, and that was it. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to go into a hunt for, and it wants to know what is the full path of the executable used for dumping passwords. So what we'll do is we'll go to, let's type in like password dumping tools, and one of the popular ones is going to be Mimikatz. So dumping Windows passwords from LSAS process by creating an LSA dump. But let's check our readme.txt file to know the source is still sysmon perfect. Okay, and we still have the time frame for the last 5 years, which is a ton of data, but it's really all in this 2021, it seems like, so should be good. Okay, before we start searching for this, let's try to get the proper field to search for. And nothing necessarily like process name, but it wants the path. And what I'm noticing is that you got this event data image field. And as you can see right here, there's a path for a smartscreen.exe. So I'm going to assume we could search for that with a wildcard. So put the quotes, and then we can do like Mimikatz. And I want to say that's going to be, yeah, with the Z. And yeah, so let's do a quick look over on the Mimikatz GitHub page. Mimikatz, a tool, Pali Lorenzo Filetra is a tool I made to learn the C program and to learn C. Okay, so he was trying to learn C programming language and make some experiments with Windows security. I'm pretty sure when this first came out, like Windows didn't take it seriously, because you already had to compromise the system to be able to use this. But I believe he did some like proof of concepts on how it worked, and then they took it seriously. Okay, so we have Mimikatz. We'll put a wildcard for that. Now, if this, okay, so nothing comes up for that. What if we just, okay. So we have it right here. And we even have the hashes, which is great. So what I would like to do is just go on VirusTotal with the hash and search it. No matches are found. That's okay. Because like I said, I think we have the answer. Just highlight it right there. So yeah, the path is this. So it's in the C user's nightmare desktop Mimi x64, and then you have the executable right here at the end, which is the Mimikatz executable. So what is the full path used of the exe used for dumping password? So this has to be it. Yes. All right, well, we just finished up today. What we went over is a type of threat hunting with Blue Team Labs Online, and we used the Elastic Kibana and log stack, so the ELK stack, to run some queries and hunt for the four hunts and the questions in the readme.txt file. So again, we covered the brute force detected in the first hunt. The source was WinEvent security. In the second hunt, we looked for Windows Defender bypass, and we used sysmon and WinEvent-PowerShell. Hunt 3 was the WannaCry kill switch domain, which we were able to look for the event, sysmon event 22 for DNS queries. And then we were able to get the field for H4, look for a popular password dumping tool, which the most popular one is Mimikatz. 100%. I'm sure there's others. So this hunt that we just did was rated at a medium level. They made 3 different SOC ALPHA investigations. The first one had alerts with a time frame, like sometimes within the hour, so like you could really tailor it down. But that's responding to alerts. This was more along the lines of looking for threats by threat hunting. You don't really have an alert to go off of, but what we did is we looked through data and we were able to figure it out and find what we're looking for. So we started up the Kibana instance in the beginning, and once we troubleshoot it with the commands, the sudo system controls start elastic start log stash start Kibana, we were able to get that up and running, and then we were able to search for what we needed. So the next one we'll do is SOC ALPHA 3. That one's going to be rated hard, but I'm excited to keep learning, gaining new knowledge and a better understanding of everything that this field has. I appreciate you guys being here, and please subscribe and like the video, and watch out for more content coming soon. Thank you.